Our Managing Director of Prime Security joins us. And Jakes, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Jakes, what should we start with? Markets or a tribute to the great man RNT?
I think markets at the end of the day are a subset of various actions, various endeavors of various groups, etc. But I think the person we're talking about today is way, way, way beyond all this. I think an institution is a group that's been credited for, let's say, having set up virtually the first company in every sector that we can think of, whether it's steel, whether it's software, whether it's hotels, whether it is a social sciences institute, charity, the entire thing about corporate governance, the ambition of capitalism, along with the soft hand of social impact. I mean, I don't believe, forget India, I think the world has seen the passing of a true generation, I would say. It's not even a legacy, it's way, way beyond that.
What made Tata Group so different and special? There is no other parallel in the world for a company or for a group, from steel to steel, from aviation to semiconductor, from software to now software to now moving into semiconductors. What makes this group so special? Because the world is moving today towards specialization. Great companies like Nvidia and Microsoft, they are very specialist and niche focused companies. But here's a group which is expanding, and it is expanding into new businesses which is so extraordinary.
I think the beauty is that each company is super specialized and a dominant player and an industry leader and taking steps which we haven't seen before. I mean, going out of the country and making $10 billion acquisitions of auto companies in Europe, or for instance, the steel company in UK. I mean, these are not things that people could even imagine could happen out of India had it not been for RNT. So the way I see this is that if you do the sort of super specialized corporate activity with just basic governance, and these guys actually had exceptionally higher levels of governance. The people in the group, I mean, forget the founders whose visions that these specialists or these CEOs of different companies are embodying. But the reality is, if you do the right thing in business and do it rightly, the correct way, profits will follow. So I don't believe that ever you see a Tata management not talking about market cap, return on capital, etc. But above all, it is assumed other groups make it out to be a virtue. The Tatas have actually assumed and taken for granted that the only way to do things right is the right way. And I think that is the big thing, that supporting charity, supporting children with cancer. I mean, these things have just come as a natural consequence of their corporate activity or their natural consequence of their activity. This has not been something that has had to be told to them or has had to be steeped into their system. This comes almost. That's the ingraining of the. They used to talk about the TAS, the Tata administration in the good old 80s and 90s, and the kind of people who used to come out of that, the industry leaders, and that talks about the stellar qualities that they had during their training there. That some of the finest leaders in the country came from the corporate leaders. So all credit to the group, and we will certainly miss, but I think we need to savor the legacy, and that's the important thing as we move on.
Tata Group of companies, Jakes. Which are the Tata Group of companies which are good but mature in terms of business curve? Which are the Tata Group companies which would be compounding, for next few years? And which are some of the Tata Group companies which are young, agile, and really could be the high growth businesses for the Tata Group?
Steel has its organic growth that's reasonably mature. It's extremely in a very competitive sort of landscape, as also is the auto company. Perhaps the unshackling of JLR from the CV and PV businesses of India may bring about a new giant in the world, if you will. Apart from that, the power is a growing business, especially with entry into green power. Hotels is a good business growing with multiple formats coming through. New exciting businesses could well be in the tech space. And not to forget Trent, which has surprised everybody, with becoming the sort of the latest and the most exciting kid on the block. But don't forget the TCS kind of story where solid cash flows allow you to keep reinventing yourself. And TCS could produce, several surprises for us over the years. And their entry into various aspects of technology, including now AI, could actually change and refashion the company quite a bit. But the Tata Elxsis of the world, Tata Technologies, are potentially the new age players, and maybe their foray into things like telecom infrastructure and so on and so forth. So I think there are spaces, but the one good thing about the Tatas is their ability to manage the mature businesses and embody and embrace the new age businesses with equal elan. I think that's been the hallmark of the group. All this in a backdrop of integrity, humility, and gratitude.
There comes a time when your heart calls for you to arise. Plant your feet solid into the ground. Decide your own limits. And then break right through them. Become something more. It's my time to rise.